Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers breathalyzers, probable cause, and warrants, and is brought to us by City Watchers channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On November 27, 2022, Officer Jordan of the Houston Police Department responded to a call regarding an intoxicated individual who had allegedly driven to the Highway 63 pit stop gas station and liquor store in Houston, Missouri. He parked his cruiser in the parking lot and approached the front door of the establishment.
Where's the house? It's right down here.
Hold on, you're not going anywhere. They're right there. You got a camera that shows him driving up?
I don't know how to work it.
Okay, but do you have one? Okay, I need to talk to you real quick. Come here. Here's the situation. I got a call. Stated that they believe that you be intoxicated. Okay. Have you had anything to drink today?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, nothing to drink at all?
No.
No? What do you
Nope.
Nope? Because you kind of seem like your eyes are a little watery, kind of glassy, a little bit bloodshot. Is that your car out front?
Yep.
It is?
Yep.
Would you mind taking a breathalyzer test for me?
No.
You won't?
No.
You won't?
I've been driving.
Officer Jordan requests that the suspect take a breathalyzer, and the man repeatedly refuses to do so. Under Section 577.020 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, which is known as Missouri's Implied Consent Statute, quote, "Any person who operates a vehicle upon the public highways of this state shall be deemed to have given consent to a chemical test or tests of the person's breath, blood, saliva, or urine for the purpose of determining the alcohol or drug content of the person's blood if the person is arrested for any offense arising out of acts which the arresting officer had reasonable grounds to believe were committed while the person was operating a vehicle while in an intoxicated condition." This post-arrest test will typically be taken at the police station and may involve a blood draw, urinalysis, or breath test. Under this law, if an individual refuses to submit to chemical testing to determine their blood alcohol concentration, or BAC, after they have been arrested, their driver's license will be subject to a presumptive 1-year revocation. Additionally, according to Section 577.021 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, quote, "Any municipal law enforcement officer who is certified may, prior to arrest, administer a chemical test to any person suspected of operating a vehicle while in an intoxicated condition or with an excessive blood alcohol content." This type of pre-arrest test would be conducted using a portable breath test, or PBT, device at the scene of the detention. Because PBT results are less reliable than the larger breathalyzer devices used to conduct post-arrest breath tests in police stations, the statute goes on to clarify that, quote, "A test administered pursuant to this section shall be admissible as evidence of probable cause to arrest and as exculpatory evidence, but shall not be admissible as evidence of blood alcohol content. Individuals are not required to submit to pre-arrest PBTs under Missouri's Implied Consent Statute and cannot have their driver's license revoked for refusing to do so. However, as Division 2 of the Southern District of the Missouri Court of Appeals explained in the 2012 case of State versus Burks, the fact that a driver refused to submit to a pre-arrest PBT is a factor that can be considered when determining whether an officer has probable cause to arrest the driver for driving while intoxicated. Therefore, while the suspect was within his rights to refuse Officer Jordan's request that he take a PBT, and he could not be penalized with a driver's license revocation for doing so, Officer Jordan had the authority to take his refusal under consideration when determining whether he had probable cause to arrest him.
You haven't been driving, so when we pull that camera up there, it's not going to show you driving that motor vehicle?
No.
It's not?
No.
Okay. It looks like you've been drinking. I can smell it.
And
How much have you had to drink today?
none.
None? They stated they seen you drive up here. You're intoxicated. I'm not going to allow you to.
Who said I drove it?
Sir, I'm not going to tell you who. I'm just telling you what I've observed. Okay, so I'm going to detain you. Go ahead and turn and put your hands behind your back. Go ahead and put your hands behind your back. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. I'm going to detain you right now. You're not under arrest, but I'm going to detain you until I can find out if you've operated that motor vehicle up here. When I find out you operated that motor vehicle up here in an intoxicated condition, you will be placed under arrest for driving underneath the influence of alcohol. Do you understand?
Officer Jordan places the suspect in handcuffs and explains that he is being legally detained while he confirms that the suspect actually drove the vehicle in question, and if the video footage shows that the suspect drove to the pit stop, Officer Jordan informs him that he will be placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated. Under Section 577.010 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, quote, a person commits the offense of driving while intoxicated if he or she operates a vehicle while in an intoxicated condition. Section 577.001 of the Revised Statutes defines the term intoxicated condition as, quote, when a person is under the influence of alcohol, a controlled substance, or drug, or any combination thereof, and the term operates as, quote, physically operating a vehicle. Here, there is an abundance of evidence to suggest that the man was intoxicated. And although Officer Jordan did not personally witness the suspect driving the vehicle, a witness claimed they saw him driving and exiting the vehicle, which gave Officer Jordan, at the very least, reasonable suspicion to detain the man and investigate further. However, a court would probably conclude that he also had probable cause to arrest the man for driving while intoxicated, even without viewing the security footage. According to Section 544.218 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, quote, an arrest without a warrant by a law enforcement officer for a violation of Section 577.010 is lawful whenever the arresting officer has reasonable grounds to believe that the person to be arrested has violated the section, whether or not the violation occurred in the presence of the arresting officer. Likewise, as the Southern District of the Missouri Court of Appeals noted in the 2004 case of Green versus Director of Revenue, quote, it is not necessary for an officer to actually observe a person driving to have probable cause to arrest the person for driving while intoxicated. An officer has a right to rely upon information communicated via police dispatch and information reported by citizen witnesses. Given this precedent, a court would most likely determine that Officer Jordan could have arrested the suspect at this point rather than just detaining him. Given the evidence that he was intoxicated, such as the smell of alcohol and his slurred speech and erratic behavior, the witness statement claiming to have seen him driving, and the circumstantial evidence of his vehicle being parked at the pit stop with the keys inside of it.
Do you understand? Come on. Sir, do you have a driver's license on you? Okay, we can play that game too, bud. Alright, come on. You have a driver, you got a wallet on you, bud?
Have Jake come get my car. I didn't do nothing, man.
You drove your car up here drunk, and I'm going to go back there and review those cameras.
I didn't drive up
Sir, you are obviously intoxicated.
Not as bad as I can get.
Okay, but you still are, correct? But have a seat right there for me. Again, you're not under arrest right now. You're just being detained while I investigate
For
this.
what?
For driving while underneath the influence of alcohol.
I'm not driving.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to step in that vehicle, or I'm going to arrest you for not doing it. I'm giving you a lawful order.
Pants.
Sir, your pants are fine. Step in the vehicle.
I'm trying.
Alright, well, I'm taking time with you. I'm being gentle with you.
Alright.
Alright. Alright, hang tight for me real quick.
Alright.
Is there anybody you can call to get the camera?
I called Jeremy and he was like, take his number, and if he can wait till first thing in the morning, he says, I'll get it to him. And I was like,
so
I
I need
don't
it
think
tonight.
they're going to wait.
No, I need it tonight.
I'm so glad he came in when he
did. Did you see him when he came in?
Absolutely. He come in and well, the other officer was in here. He was walking in and he was like, I've already got that full once.
He's drunk as hell. Could you watch him on my passenger side, make sure you don't try and kick out my window or something? Thanks.
I just arrested him yesterday. He was drunk yesterday too.
Was he? That's what he was saying, but I need to review the camera. She stated he did come in, so as long as I can see it, I'm gonna take him. Thanks. Guy, he's drunk. I need to see the camera. Just a drunk guy. It's
My
cool.
cameras aren't for you guys.
No.
Okay, so
These are private cameras.
right, so
Okay, I want it in writing that you even requested that.
okay, I can give it to you, Willie, in writing. That's fine. I mean,
You're done, dude. I'll tell you right now. I've had it with your.
okay, dude.
No, okay, dude, nothing. I've had it with your. Seriously.
No, we don't do that.
Okay, so what I got?
What are you doing here in this parking lot?
Your lady called me and said that you got a drunk guy here getting ready to leave. So keep him from getting in the vehicle. I'm asking to see if I can see the cameras to prove that he drove up here.
The pit stop's owners, Jeremy Foster, who can be seen in this interaction wearing a baseball hat, and Willie Walker, who's also the mayor of the city of Houston, arrive at the gas station and refuse to allow Officer Jordan to review their security camera footage. Now, as we've discussed many times before on ATA, individuals are normally not legally obligated to assist police officers with their investigations. And although Officer Jordan could have reviewed the video footage with the consent of the owners, he unquestionably did not have the legal authority to order the owners to show it to him simply because he was conducting an investigation. However, it is possible that the footage could have been obtained from the pit stop's owners against their will using either a warrant or a subpoena. As Section 542.266 of the Missouri Revised Statutes explains, quote, "A search warrant is a written order of a court commanding the search of a person, place, or thing, and the seizure, or photographing or copying, of property found thereon or therein." According to Section 542.271 of the Missouri Revised Statutes, quote, "A warrant may be issued to search for and seize, or photograph, copy, or record any property, article, material, or substance that constitutes evidence of the commission of a criminal offense." And under Section 542.276 of the Revised Statutes, any peace officer or prosecuting attorney can apply for a warrant by submitting a written application in the proper court. On the other hand, while a warrant authorizes law enforcement to commit an act that would otherwise be a violation of the Fourth Amendment, such as searching property and seizing evidence, a subpoena compels action from an individual. For instance, as detailed in Missouri Rule of Criminal Procedure 26.02, a subpoena ducis tecum, which is Latin for "you shall bring with you," requires, quote, "the person to whom it is directed to produce the books, papers, documents, or other objects designated therein." Because subpoenas are far less intrusive than warrants, as they simply compel individuals to turn over evidence rather than authorizing law enforcement officers to search property and seize evidence, they do not require a showing of probable cause, and are often the preferred course of action for securing evidence from third parties who are not suspected of criminal activity, such as the pit stop owners. However, as the Supreme Court held in the 1978 case of Zerker versus Stanford Daily, quote, "Valid warrants may be issued to search any property, whether or not occupied by a third party, at which there is probable cause to believe that fruits, instrumentalities, or evidence of a crime will be found, even when the authorities, quote, do not then have probable cause to believe that the owner or possessor of the property is himself implicated in the crime that has occurred or is occurring." Therefore, although Mr. Foster and Mayor Walker were not required by law to comply with Officer Jordan's requests to view the video footage, they would be legally obligated to submit to a warrant authorizing the search and seizure of the footage, or a subpoena requiring them to produce it.
No, we're not doing that.
I would never do that for any citizen. These are private cameras, okay? I'm not with people getting watched all the time or any of that stuff.
And you sat across the road over here for a day for an hour and 15 minutes watching my place.
As a business
I'm not
owner,
watching. I'm running traffic. He's even asked me to do said thing.
To watch traffic. As a business owner, nobody's going to come and buy anything from the liquor store with the cop sitting across there. It's not good for business.
Okay.
You're a liar. You said she called the cops and she did not call the cops.
I did not call cops.
Okay,
So you're a liar.
Sir, I'm going to tell you the
Get the out of here.
Sir,
You get out of here.
sir,
Go.
stop. Sir, stop.
Get out of here.
Sir.
I'm sick of you.
Sir,
You lied about that.
I didn't lie about nothing.
She didn't call you.
You said she called. You just
Okay.
said that.
She
You just-
called
you
or
need to
somebody
leave.
called.
You need to leave
Get
here.
the out of here. Don't ever pull back on this parking lot again.
You
I
need to
told you
leave.
that with one business. I'm telling you with this one.
I'm telling you as a business owner, politely, you need
right.
to leave here.
We're going to go. Hey, Andy, we need to get his keys.
Get the out of here. Get in your car and get the out of here.
Hey, right now I'm here lawfully for an investigation.
No, you're not on my property.
Yes, I am.
Because no one calls you. Get
All
out
right,
of here.
I'm going to call the chief.
Andy, I want him gone.
Do you want the car removed?
No, leave the car there.
He said he's fine with it there, so.
Okay, that's fine. You just want to grab his keys?
Where is his keys?
In the car.
Does he want it secured or anything?
Wow.
All right, bud, hold up. Check it out.
What the was that about?
It's whatever. So here's the deal. Again, like I said, you're not being under arrest, okay? I'll detain
What's that
you.
about?
Will you listen to me for a second so I can get this done? You can walk out of here, okay? I'm not going to place you under arrest. You're not getting in that car, though. If you get in that car, you are going to go to jail.
Well,
Turn around for me.
I guess I'll have to walk up.
You'll have to walk back to Kabul, bud. Have a chat with this deputy real quick, and we'll kick it.
I'll call Jay's and have
him tow it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can get that done too.
After releasing the suspect on the stipulation that he would not drive and arranging for the vehicle to be towed, Officer Jordan and his fellow officer left the scene without making any arrests. Ultimately, no charges were filed against the apparently intoxicated suspect, and no subpoena or warrant was sought to obtain the video footage after the fact. Houston Police Chief Brad Evans issued a statement regarding the encounter, declaring that, quote, "This was an unfortunate and completely avoidable incident. I would like to commend Officer Jordan for his actions while dealing with this volatile situation. Officer Jordan showed a tremendous amount of professionalism and restraint when faced with a challenging situation and should be recognized for his actions." Additionally, the body camera footage was discussed at a Houston Board of Aldermen meeting, and although a statement condemning Mayor Walker's refusal to cooperate with the police was read and entered into the minutes, it does not appear that further action was taken. The Missouri Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Control also issued a statement that it was investigating the incident, but as of the date of this episode, no findings have been publicly announced. Overall, Officer Jordan gets an A+ for demonstrating a remarkable amount of courtesy throughout a tense and abusive interaction, consistently respecting the rights of the other parties involved, and showing deference to the constitutional limitations on his authority. Officer Jordan remained calm and respectful throughout the encounter while dealing with both the intoxicated individual and the property owners, and maintained his professional demeanor when Mr. Foster began to scream profanities at him. Even though Officer Jordan likely did have probable cause to arrest the suspect for driving while intoxicated, he chose not to pursue charges when faced with a lack of cooperation from the pit stop owners and their employee, and ultimately achieved his goal of protecting the community from a dangerously impaired driver by ensuring the intoxicated individual did not drive his vehicle home. I commend Officer Jordan for his patience and professionalism, and for honoring the constitutional restraints of his authority, as well as the Fourth Amendment rights of the intoxicated suspect and the pit stop owners. And I would encourage other law enforcement officers to learn from his example. Mayor Walker and Mr. Foster get a C-, because although they were within their legal rights to deny Officer Jordan access to the video footage, they refused to assist Officer Jordan in his attempts to keep an intoxicated suspect off the streets, and maintained a hostile and highly confrontational attitude throughout the encounter. Instead of supporting Officer Jordan in his efforts to prevent drunk driving, the owners of the pit stop expressed concern that his presence may deter customers from coming to the liquor store, which is an argument that only really makes sense if these potential customers were already intoxicated or otherwise violating the law. As owners of a liquor store, I believe that Mayor Walker and Mr. Foster have a moral obligation to the community to ensure that intoxicated individuals are not driving on the roads on the way to and from their business. And their behavior during this encounter indicates that they would not have had any problems with the intoxicated suspect getting back behind the wheel and driving away as long as he was a paying customer. Although Mayor Walker did not scream profanities at Officer Jordan as Mr. Foster did, he still gets a C- because he did nothing to attempt to constrain his partner's deranged behavior, and neglected his responsibility as mayor to protect the community of Houston in favor of his business interests. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.